Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is what people are seeing and experiencing in everyday life when it comes to being of the prepared mind. And if you would like to do so, my email is in the description box below, okay? Because people send me pictures and videos and emails all the time, okay? So this first thing that I'm going to show you is a picture, and I'm going to read it to you first, all right, because the writing's a little small, all right, and it says, what if I told you that 40 of our elected representatives held Chinese citizenships? Would you be worried? Maybe you should. All right, so I'm going to read off the names here. Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut, Barbara Boxer, California, Benjamin Cardin, Maryland, Dianne Feinstein, California, Al Franken, Minnesota, Herb Cole, Wisconsin, I believe, Frank Lautenberg, New Jersey, Joseph Lieberman, Connecticut, Carl Levin, Levin, Michigan, Bernard Sanders, Vermont, Charles Schumer, New York, Ron Wyden, Oregon, Michael Bennett, Colorado, Gary Ackerman, New York, Shelley Berkeley, Nevada, Howard Berman, California, Eric Cantor, Virginia, David Cicilline, Cicilline, Rhode Island, Stephen Cohen, Tennessee, Susan Davis, California, Ted Deutsch, Deutch, Deutsch, whatever, Florida, Elliot Engel, New York, Bob Filner, California, Barney Frank, Massachusetts, Gabrielle Gifford, Arizona, Jane Harmon, California, Steve Israel, New York, Sander Levin, Michigan, Nita Lowy, New York, Gerald Nadler, New York, Jared Polis, Colorado, Steve Rothman, New Jersey, Jan Schakowsky, Illinois, Allison Schwartz, Pennsylvania, Adam Schiff, California, Brad Sherman, California, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Florida, Henry Waxman, California, Anthony Weiner, New York, and John Warmuth, Kentucky. Yeah, it's extremely concerning, actually. So here are some pictures that I'm going to throw up for you. These come in from a community member. She said, what ports China controls and what passes through as a result. In South America, you have Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Chile, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela. Central America, you have Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico. In the Caribbean, you have Antigua and Barbados, Bahamas, Cuba, Curacao, Curacao, and then Grenada, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago. And then this one says, because this is, I'm going to have to read this to you because it's very, very small. Today, China controls all or portions of over 40 ports in Latin America and many scores more globally. Ports across the Americas continue to be exploited or remain vulnerable to transnational criminal organizations that corrupt officials and strategically use maritime shipping as logistical platforms to move tens of billions of dollars worth of narcotics, precursor chemicals, opioids, counterfeit electronics, apparel, footwear, tobacco products, pharmaceuticals, stolen cars, pillaged natural resources, illegally poached wildlife, harvested timber, and other goods through the exploitation and controls of FTZs and ports across the Americas and its built and Road Initiative, or BRI, China is able to expand illicit trade operations and unfair trade and business practices, moving contraband such as fentanyl, precursor chemicals for methamphetamine, counterfeit medicines, and other illicit goods. We must hold the CCP more accountable while holistically prosecuting the fight against illegal trade, corruption, criminalized markets, counterfeiting, and predicates to money laundering in order to better protect our citizens, communities, trade secrets, industries, and national interests. Yeah, I had no idea that they were, wow. It's funny. You do so much research, right? But there's always that one little tidbit of information that you missed it. You know what I mean? And this is one of those. Wow. So here's a picture that I'm going to put up for you. Cucumbers. This was sent to me by a community member. Cucumbers can be planted at any time in May after danger of frost is past. Folklore has it that to protect them from insects, they should be planted in May, on May 1st. The old holiday Beltane before sun up for best results. They should be planted by you wise ass. I almost took this as for real. They should be planted by a naked young man, you jerk off. But before I put that picture up, because I'm gonna I can't believe you sent that to me. Anyway, a community member actually sent me this email. She said, if anyone contacts you for my offer of free tomato plants, please pass on my email. She is offering free tomato plants. She is in Texas. So I have her email here. Okay. Her name is Janet. She is a sweetheart. She's been with me since the very beginning, about 3 years. Okay. She is an avid gardener and she knows her stuff. Okay. So here is a email and some pictures from a community member. She said, oh my goodness, dear Autumn, I have been a busy bee. I see that. Put together another raised garden for my rogue strawberries to go in. Cleaned up my granddaughter Gracie's strawberry patch and weeded my thorny raspberries. Have you noticed, not for nothing, are your raspberries coming in and your blackberries coming in sooner than they have previously? My grandkids, they came running in yesterday and they were like, Nana, your blackberries are ripe. I'm like, what? It's only April. My blackberries normally don't become ripe until like June, July, August. And son of a gun, they pulled me out there and they were picking blackberries off and they were eating them. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, there's still like, some red ones on there because they're not ripe yet. But yeah, they were picking blackberries off and eating them. And I'm like, what the heck? Yesterday was the first time that we've actually had rain. And I'm like, something's going on here. Because like last year, my blackberry, my raspberry, my blueberry, and my grape vines, they all died too soon. Like they all stopped producing, and they all like dried up really, really soon, like earlier than they normally would. And then now this year, they're green and producing earlier than they normally would. What's going on? So because I said to my daughter-in-law, because she's like, Mom, when are we going to go? She's like, when are we going to go and get more plants? And I'm like, all right, well, we'll go this week, because she wants to line up the rest of like the back fence and stuff like that with more grapevines and stuff and more blackberry and raspberry vines. And I said, all right, yeah, we'll go do that. So that's what we're going to be doing with the kids this week. We're going to be lining up the back fence with grapevines, blackberry, and raspberry. So I'm getting off topic, but yeah, I don't know if any of you guys are noticing in your gardens what's going on with your fruits and stuff like that. But anyway, because she's talking about her raspberries. My raspberries, they're coming in. My blackberries, they're coming in, and I'm like, something's not, this isn't normal. This is not normal at all whatsoever, especially when we haven't had rain, with the exception of yesterday. And that was the first time in I don't know how long. You know what I mean? Something's not right. So she said with all that done and cleaned up, I put together another one and plant cabbage soon. And wow, yeah, I love these raised garden beds. I want to get one for my daughter-in-law. And because she just doesn't want to be confined to just having 2 greenhouses. She wants like raised garden beds and stuff like that. So can you tell me where you bought this? Because I love these garden beds and I want to get one for her. So here you go. And here are some very informative and awesome videos that I wanted to share with you that were shared with me by community members.
Okay guys, so I want to show you how to make cheese shelf stable. I got these on sale. I cut my 2-pound blocks into 4s. You're going to put them on cheesecloth or paper towels and let them sit for a day. Now you're going to basically give them a vinegar bath. Make sure to wear gloves. And this is not apple cider vinegar. This is my homemade vinegar that I'm going to be using. Blot them down really good. You can use white vinegar too. So you can actually dip these in a bowl of vinegar if you want, instead of doing it this way. And this is going to help so mold doesn't grow. Now you're going to cover those with cheesecloth and let these sit another day. Now you're going to heat up some cheese wax in a double boiler. Make sure you heat this up to 200 degrees before you start dipping your cheese. Go ahead and blot the cheese one more time to get the excess oil off. Remember, 200 degrees. Now start dipping. Don't leave it in too long. The wax sets pretty quickly, so now you're going to dip the other side. You're going to do this a total of 2 times. My pepper jack, I did 3 because it was so much more oilier. I also had a silicone brush, so if I saw any cracks or crevices, I would brush it with that. The whole purpose of doing this is so that you don't have to store this in a refrigerator. Store it in a box, do not let them touch each other. Just make sure to keep this in a cool, dark place with 55 degrees or lower. Some people say this will last 25 years. Not in our house though. Enjoy!
Okay, so I just made a whole video about this and I don't know where it went. I was waiting for it to load up and it just magically disappeared. But what I want to tell you right now is very important. So for those of you that already have been paying attention, you know that FedNow is going to be dropping in July. And a lot of people are like, I'm not using FedNow, I'm not doing it, whatever. I am here to tell you, as a person that is working for a bank and has been working at that bank for 8 years, that it will be going through the banks. The banks will be using the system of FedNow. So every time you use your debit card, every time you send someone some money on any type of platform, it's going to go through FedNow and then it's going to go to that person. So if I want to purchase something off of Amazon, instead of it going from me directly to Amazon, it's going to be going from me to FedNow, then to Amazon. It's going to be a way the federal government can track all of our spending habits. And if they feel that it's something they do not want us to purchase, they can stop our purchases. It is dangerous and it is scary. So pay attention to it, especially for people that have businesses where you deal with people to people, like hairstylists and beauty people. And, you know, if I want to pay or Cash App or Apple Pay or something for someone to do my nails, I could do that. But now in July, when FedNow is released, it's going to go through from me. Even if I'm using Cash App, even if I'm using a non-financial institution, the fact that the other person receiving it is using a financial institution, I'm telling you, there's just no way to avoid it. And then cash is just going to become obsolete. But this is something I've been saying for years. I work at a bank. I move money for a living. The difference between you having $1 million and you having $10 is me pressing some zeros. When is the last time you actually seen a paper check come from your employer? You don't. It's just somebody like me behind the scenes typing in digits so you can get the money you want to get. So if the federal government decides to pull funds, stop funds, not type in enough digits. If I, like, just someone like me, regular old me, can control your funds, what do you think the government will be capable of? That's dangerous. And I hope this video actually gets on my TikTok this time, because I don't know what happened to the first one, but please, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. Just please, 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 for your own benefit, do not just rely on information on TikTok. Do your own research. Okay? Good luck out there.
Okay, so here is a picture that was sent in, but with an email from a community member. She said, I went online to buy sugar from the LDS store. Every product but the hard white wheat is temporarily out of stock. I just ordered from them 2 weeks ago when I received my last paycheck, and everything was fine. Just a heads up. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate this heads up, because I know that a lot of people in our community, they get a lot of their preps from LDS. So thank you. Okay, so here's an email from a community member. She said, I just wanted to give you a little bit more information on the area around the train wreck in Maine. My wife and I previously lived in both Jackman and Greenville, 2 towns along the stretch of road, Maine Route 15, that is in that very rural area. While it is likely items being transported on that rail were mostly for lumber operations, especially as that same line had a terrible fatality many years back. Look up LAC Mega MEGANTIC in QC Canada for details. Okay, thank you. I will. There are many industrial solvents and thinners which could be highly flammable as part of that potentially. Now, the history of that line is it always had problems, and they used to limit the speed of the trains to 25 miles per hour because of the disrepair. So there is disrepair on the train tracks. I knew there had to be something wrong. I knew it. So the state takes poor care of the road along there. And as for the rail line, it has transferred ownership multiple times these past few years. We moved to another part of the state 2 years ago, so we didn't follow it since then. But Moosehead Lake is the largest freshwater lake in Maine and among the most important watersheds in New England. It's a very large lake, nearly 40 miles in width, and if there was leakage, it would be devastating for many natural and human watersheds. My wife and I wanted to share this information with you as background, and we followed the many train derailments and potential acts of industrial sabotage. Rural Maine is very thinly populated, and many of us who live here are doing so for precisely that reason. I've heard Maine is so beautiful from what I understand. I've always wanted to visit, which leaves us wondering if we might not be another population that might prove a target. Oh my goodness, I hope not. I hope not. And he said, let's hope not. We understand the Ozarks are also a zone where many people hide from what is to come. Yeah, that's what I've also heard is about the Ozarks. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, God bless you too. Thank you for sending me this email. This is wonderful. Thank you, sweetheart. And before I go, here is another email from a community member, and she said this is kind of a huge thing. A huge recession is coming, and she got this from a friend of hers that is in real estate. And I will, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Hang on, just so I can show you what he said. Okay, it says, kinda a huge recession is coming, and I just want to make sure I have a secure job when it hits. Thanks for all your help. And he is now getting a job in the government because of stability. It might be a good idea to get out of retail jobs. There's going to be mass layoffs soon. So here's the screenshot. So it's just, you know, even people in real estate, they know that their careers that they've worked so hard for, and I have a lot of friends that are in real estate, they even know that nothing is secure, nothing. And when you have, you know, I have my one sister Janine, she's in real estate. So I'm gonna have to call her and find out what her next step is. I really do. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, you stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.